Welcome to the GrowthCraft member pitch practice. This session spotlights one or two founders as they pitch their product or service to a panel of GrowthCraft advisors and fellow members. Each featured founder gets 5 minutes to pitch, 10 minutes for open Q&A, 10 minutes for advisor feedback, for a total session time of 25 minutes per founder. It's a supportive space to practice your pitch, sharpen your messaging, and get honest, constructive input, whether you're preparing for investors, partners, or even customers. All attendees are welcome to ask questions, making this an invaluable opportunity to learn from both sides of the pitch. Sign up for member pitch practice by signing up for membership in GrowthCraft at growthcraft.org/membership. Hello, my name is Hasan Sorrells. This is Tom Living.
Welcome back, everyone.
And you are listening to the GrowthCraft podcast. The GrowthCraft podcast is designed with the startup founder in mind. This podcast, this show, is committed to growing your connections as a listener to our GrowthCraft advisors, increasing your engagement with the GrowthCraft community, and to growing your knowledge about all the benefits that GrowthCraft can provide for your project, your purpose, and the business that you are seeking to build, the dent you're seeking to make in the universe. And we can't wait to bring you along with us on our journey today. Here on the podcast, we interview startup founders, advisors, and others who are members and others of the GrowthCraft community about their journey, their process, their project, and what is motivating them to get out there and get started. Welcome to the podcast today, Mark Condon. How you doing, Mark?
I'm excellent. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on here.
All right. So our first question today, just to kick off and get an opening there, for our listeners, what is it that you do exactly?
So my wife and I are the founders of iPupPee. iPupPee is a smart tech training product for dogs. In short, dog presses the button. It's connected to Wi-Fi, and when the button is pressed, a push notification gets sent to the individual who's connected to their iPupPee. So in theory, it's used for a lot of dog training, potty training, service dog emergency alerts, and it comes with 24/7 camera, two-way speaker, and a motion detection as well. So it's a pretty cool product.
It sounds fascinating. And I think I have a little bit of an advantage over Hasan in this case because I've had more conversations with you than he does, than he has had. So my questions might be a little bit more pointed than his. But so can you, in the respect of you just said the button, can you explain to people what that means? Like, so when you're saying, when you say the dog, you're training the dog with a button, because the first thing I thought of when I first met you and I didn't know anything about you, because I'm used to the clicker training. I've seen people use clicker training. So I was like, okay, so does the dog push the clicker? So can you give people a little bit of insight as to what that means, like what you're talking about when you say the button?
Yeah, sure. So the button, this is what it looks like. So this is the iPupPee. So it's a paw-shaped button. It only takes a half a pound of pressure. I've had dogs as small as 4 pounds press it. So when individuals are training their dog, this initial thought process behind this was for potty training, right? So like kind of you want a little background on how I came up with the idea? Okay. So I had a senior chocolate lab, Champ. You'll see him, hence the logo with iPupPee. I worked in my last home. I worked downstairs in the basement in finance, and we had a couch behind me. He was always next to me. Long story short, his back legs became really weak. He had to be on another floor of the house, and I wasn't always next to him all day. And he was 14. I had him since he was 10 weeks old, so it kind of killed me not being next to him all day. But more importantly, I didn't know when he had to go to the bathroom, right? And he's 14, right? So the window is a lot shorter than, like, say, a 3 or 4-year-old puppy. So I wanted a way to keep an eye on him at all times, and there's plenty of cameras out there. But a way for him to notify me if he had to go to the bathroom, a more modern version of hanging those annoying doorbells, annoying bells by the door that the dogs walk into all day and make noises. So I did some research. We couldn't believe there was no way for a dog to press a button and you get a push notification sent to your phone, much like you do for any app that you have on your phone these days. So we created it. So when the dog presses the button, a sound gets made so the dog can register that something happened, kind of like clicker training. And then when the button is pressed, a push notification gets sent to your phone. So push alert pops up, and when you open it, it takes you right to the camera that's in the front of the unit. So you're literally getting a video call from your dog. It looks like you're getting, yeah, it looks like you're getting a video call from your dog. And it's got a two-way speaker, so you can listen and talk into the phone, and it comes out the speaker on the side of the unit, so you can see and talk to your dog in real time and check in on them. And then, so that's what I mean by when the dog pushes the button. So the dog is the one pressing this button, and you train your dog to do so for any training that you want to train your dog for.
I just had a weird moment where I was thinking of the dog in that movie Up with the kid with like the speaking
The
thing,
speaking
right?
collar.
The speaking collar.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think that's iPuppee version like 4, maybe,
I've thought of that actually. Yes, that is down the line, and you got to sell a lot more of these iPuppies first. But yeah,
Absolutely. It'll have the AI will just interpret the
yeah,
dog's barks to us, and then
right.
we're all the way down the road on that. Um, hmm. This is once again evidence. Another one of our GrowthCraft founders, who's also in the pet space, Jaime, also has a product in the space. And anytime someone comes on to our show and talks to us about something in the animal care or the pet care space, I'm just reminded once again of how great America is. Like, this is the
Yeah.
greatest country, in the world to start something for people and their pets. Which, speaking of which, you gave us a little bit of the backstory about how the product works and all of that. How are you? So this is, I guess, a marketing question, one that maybe Tom would ask you, but I'll go ahead and take a bite at this one. Take a stab at it. Um, so the marketing of this is to, obviously not to the pet, obviously not to the dog, right? You're marketing it to the people. So who's your target market for this? Who are you looking at really connecting with? And how are you seeking to engage with them around this product?
It's a great question. So, as I said, this was initially created as a potty training device with my scenario that I thought of with Champ, right? Granted, at 14, I don't know if I would have trained him to press the button, but that's where the idea came from, right? So, as we went along, this entire process, my simple mind is potty training. Last May, so a little over a year ago, someone reached out to me and said, "Hey, my mom just had her legs amputated. She's in a wheelchair. We have a service dog. Can I train it for an emergency?" And like that was like the light bulb moment for me where I was like, wow. So this cool like potty training device can now potentially be like a life-saving alert for people with disabilities. So we've really shifted the entire focus on the service dog space. Now, people are using it for potty training, but let's be honest, the average pet parent is pretty lazy. They'll probably give up after a couple weeks, say it doesn't work. At the end of the day, you can like I've gotten a French bulldog to press this button in like 30 minutes, and he's an idiot. He's adorable, but he's an idiot. And I have no dog training experience whatsoever, right? So like at the end of the day, the average pet parent's probably pretty lazy and just going to give it up and use it as like a cool camera at some point, or an excuse to get out of a date, like, oh, my dog just called me, I got to go type of thing. But when you think about the service dog application, these dogs are used to pressing, they have 100 cues. They can press this thing within minutes. First attempts, these dogs can press this button. And, the need for, the biggest fear that I've come across talking to people with service dogs is what happens if I'm home alone? Like these dogs are incredible. They grab water, they grab medicine off the countertop and bring it to you when they sense you have a seizure. Like they can scent pheromones coming off your body and try to give you medicine to prevent it from happening. And they're amazing, but there's only so much they can do if you're home alone, right? So now the one feature you can invite up to 3 people to receive these notifications. For me, we used to live in a townhouse community that was initially thought of as like neighbors and dog walkers like nearby. That is now people connecting their emergency contacts to their iPuppy so they get notified as soon as the button's pressed. And from there, they can determine whether 911 is needed or not. So it's a great question on the marketing piece. The marketing we're focusing on right now is a service dog space. At the end of the day, it can be used for anything, but I think there's a much lower barrier of resistance for people in that space because their dogs can do it so easily and there's an actual need. Whereas it's like a nice to have cool product for the average pet parent, if you will.
Yeah. So why? So there, you mentioned briefly that there are some, when you were thinking about this for your, for your dog that is on your logo.
Yeah.
You mentioned that yeah, thanks. You mentioned that you know there are other products. So if there are other products out there, what makes yours so different? Why is yours considered better than some of the other products that have already existed?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're basically a combination of a couple products. So back, I don't know when it was created, probably in the 90s, but there's this one that is it's similar, where it's a big yellow button, it's pressed, but it's connected to a landline, which is why I think it was probably made in the 80s or 90s. And it only goes, I believe, it only goes to home landline numbers or 911. Um, so this is like an upgraded model of that with the camera. So there's a lot of pet cameras out there. Furbo is probably the most known one. And then there's another company called Fluent Pet that have these talking buttons, and they've done a very good job of marketing that. But that's just a voice recording of yourself. And you train your dog to press it when you say potty or food or whatever. They do now have a Wi-Fi connect button, but they don't have a camera or a two-way audio. So it's really a combination of all of those products into one. There's nothing else out there that has all of that into one. So that's, I would say, it's competition wise, they're a lot bigger than us right now, but I'd say we have the top-notch product out there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great. No, I love it that the competitive landscape, and who is also in the space. So we've talked about sort of why did you start the business, what your marketing approach is, how you're thinking about developing this as a tool, and expanding the offerings, right? Particularly to other areas. I can easily see applications in the emergency services area, or military dogs, right? Utilizing this kind of tool. I can easily also see this being used in farm or rural applications, for folks who are going into homesteading, right? Me personally, I'm involved in that whole I'm involved in that whole milieu, become involved in that whole milieu in the
Do
last
you
couple
want
of
to train your
years.
chickens to press the button, Hassan? Is that what you're saying? You
That
want to train your
would
chickens to
be
press the button?
That'd be
incredibly
so cool.
convenient. But actually,
The
weirdly, so
chickens,
interestingly enough, the chickens are
the
smarter
chickens
than
are
the
dumber.
turkeys.
I was gonna say the chickens are dumber than the Frenchie, though.
They are dumber than the Frenchie. The dog is actually smarter than the chickens, which is, we're not accounting for whatever here. And they're basically, chickens are just little dinosaurs.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine was just like, if they were larger, they wouldn't be delicious, and they would be smart enough to eat you. I'm like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe
Maybe.
we might still struggle there. But I can easily see applications or vision applications in other places. Um, and so with that, one of the questions that we always ask folks is, about their experiences with GrowthCraft, right? We always ask them, what's the benefit of being involved with the GrowthCraft startup community. We do, of course, ask that they only say nice things, and that if you're going to say bad things about us, well, then please say those someplace else. But no, no, no.
No, just email me those.
Yeah,
Just email
you just
Tom.
edit it out. Yeah.
You just edit it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk a little bit about your experience with GrowthCraft. How did you run across us, and what are some of the benefits that GrowthCraft is providing for you and for iPupPee right now?
Yeah, I mean, so far GrowthCraft has been great. I stumbled across you. I think it was like Startup Boston, some link in there. And as a lot of people that start their own businesses with just a solopreneur, right? So as I mentioned earlier, like I'm in finance full time, right? So I just kind of stumped one. I thought of an idea, created a product, no dog training advice. Champ passed 3 months after I came up with the idea, so I have no dog. And now I found myself in the service dog space with even less experience. I have no idea what I'm doing. You think of that American Pie, the band Geek Girl, like we don't know what we're doing or whatever. Like that is me every day when I wake up with iPuppy, right? And I'm like, where do I start? And it's like the shiny object syndrome. It's okay, I got a list of service dog organizations I got Google and Meta ads that I'm trying to figure out. I got to figure out the back end of Amazon, how the hell to get it up on there. There's so many components, building out the email flows through Click. Like there are so many components that I had no idea what I was getting myself into. And it's nice to be surrounded by other people that are in the same boat. And GrowthCraft has a lot of expertise in a lot of different areas, which has been super helpful. And I've grabbed some specific time with Charlie on the legal side of things, with Tom on the marketing side of things. And now part of a mastermind group, which I will attend very soon, more often, Tom. Calendar's been a little crazy last month, but so bouncing ideas off of people that are in the same world as me, different space for the most part, right? I think there's only two of us in the pet space, but just everyone's trying to figure it out, and they all have different lenses that and challenges that they're going through right now that I could either help with or they can help me with, and vice versa, right? So I've only been a member for a few months now, and it's been a phenomenal ROI already. So I'm excited to be a part of it, but it's really cool what you guys are doing. So I'm glad I don't know how somehow I stumbled across you guys in Startup Boston newsletter. I'm pretty sure, and I'm glad I did.
Cool. What about what about things that you would like our listeners to know, things that you're thinking about getting involved in, expos, trade shows, things like that? Like, so I'm assuming, and you can kind of tell everybody in a second, but so I'm assuming you have a website, you can announce that and tell people where to find you on the web and LinkedIn and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
is there anything else that you're going to be a part of that somebody would want to know about? Again, associations, trade shows, expos, things like that that you're planning on for the remainder of the year. Have you thought about that or any of those things?
Yeah, for sure. I went to a handful of trade shows this year. Went to It's called Assistance Dog International in March. So purely assistance dog and service dog organizations. That was phenomenal response there. And we're going to Super Zoo, which is one of the two biggest pet shows of the year. This is in August in Vegas. So we'll be there. We're in the emerging brands and the new product showcase sections. So it's a 3-day event. It's awesome. I'm very excited to go there. There's a lot of people I've met in the pet space that'll be there. So if anyone's in the pet space, if Jaime isn't going or if he's going to grab like a day pass and come check it out, we'd love to meet him. So we'll be there. And then the working dog military space that Hasana mentioned, there's one later this month in June in Nashville, but I can't make it. I would love to attend that one, but I'll have to go to that one next year. But yeah, there's a few trade shows, and then there's the Clicker APDT. There's a Clicker conference in November in Virginia that I'll be attending. And our website's iPupPee.com. We're all over social media. If you like any of the social media content, it's all me. So uh, please let me know if you like it because I'm doing my best. You should see me down here at like 4 a.m. making ridiculous reels and videos at times, but hopefully you get a laugh out of it.
Living the entrepreneurial dream right there, Mark. Waking up at
Yep.
4 a.m. to do your stuff before you go to your job.
Yeah. Take the kids to daycare. Oh yeah, you should see me. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's a whole thing. Well, hey, the family that does business together stays together. So I mean, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
Well, we will have links to iPuppee.com and all of the other places where you can get Mark Condon and where you can connect with the iPuppee product. Where you can connect with the button and with the product and with the hardware and find out more about Mark Condon's story and about how he's helping folks in the service dog application space, as well as the other spaces to which he will be expanding. And of course, we will have all of those links in the player, in the show notes below the player, where you listen to this show. All right. I'd like to thank Mark Condon for coming on the GrowthCraft podcast today. And with that, well, we're out.
So long, everyone.